in the world. I think that's a tremendous achievement by all those concerned, and the enthusiasm shown, in particularly countries like Australia, that they just didn't flinch at coming to these championships, even though we have the issues that we've had.
Brilliant news. Well, for the first time in a very long time, the home nations have taken the 4 semi-final spots in this year's team championships. So take a look at the graphic. It's England versus Wales and Scotland versus Ireland. England versus Wales, a repeat of last year's final. Promises to be a cracking match. One notable admission there. What's happened to Australia then, Joe?
Yeah, unfortunately, Australia just missed out. They finished 7th in the final series of 6. However, they can run away from these championships with one really tremendous achievement. In fact, they actually they were the only team to defeat England in the round-robin series.
Oh, I cannot believe it. Okay, well, the teams are waiting. Let's get the action underway. I'll hand you over to the 3 wise men in the commentary boxes: Chris Mellon, Tony Holgate, and Jim White.
Yes, thank you, Mark. And you look up excitement in this year's program, and you're going to see the team championships. And if you could script this any better for England, this is who they'd want to play. Team Wales, in the form of Warren Hodgson, to kick things off in this best of 15 men's team semi-final. Wales defeated England last year to take the crown. They are, in fact, the only team, apart from England, to have won more than one World Team event. And gentlemen, this is going to be one to sit back and enjoy.
Well, Warren Hodgson from Wales there, see him breaking off. Ball bouncing into the corner pocket. And he's got a daunting task ahead of him. He's got to play the world champion Jason Twist in the opening frame. But Wales are the defending team champions. And that's not the sort of shot he's going to have to be playing against Jason Twist.
That looked a bit nervy, Chris, didn't it? But who would begrudge them from being a little nervous? I mean, England 11-1 in the team tables. As Joe Fanto noted, our studio guest, the only loss was to Team Australia. But England has to be a good favorite here to regain the title they have held on so many occasions.
Yeah, Australia played very well against England in that match. They didn't really give England a chance to get to the table. But here we've got the current world champion up against Warren Hodgson. A big task for him to face.
How important is it, these early frames, to try and get the team off their hands, get that loud support that you see in the team championships? It's not quite as evident in singles play. I mean, they bring so many variables into things, and obviously the pressure here in the team championship, you're not just playing for yourself anymore, you're playing for your country and your teammates.
That's right, there's 8 players on the team. You're not just playing for yourself, you're playing for your country, you're playing for all your teammates. Can't really afford to make a mistake in one frame pool.
Well, Jason Twist is looking at trying to negotiate the plant with the yellows into this corner pocket. I must say, Chris, when we played England, I was surprised to see your name missing from the team sheet, mate. So what's that all about? Why are you not playing for England this year?
Well, I can defend Chris there, just to give you an idea of how difficult it is to make this English side. You've got 3 former world champions not in the lineup: Daz Ward, Carl Morris, and Tony, as you noted, our commentary guest today, Chris Mellon. That's just how strong this English side is.
Yeah, they've got a very strong England side. I mean, I'm concentrating on snooker these days now, and I think I've made the right decision this year.
Well, Jason Twist there making could be a costly error. So what if that red ball passes the black into the bottom right hand corner? Warren Hodgson is crouching down, having a look at, see if this gap, and there you see from that camera angle it doesn't go through.
30 seconds.
What if he's looking to try and play it off the yellow, Jim?
Well, he certainly is, because it doesn't pass. This is a big shot. What a shot for Warren Hodgson there. Look at the Reds. Now, can he hold his nerve?
There's the Welsh team looking on intently. Edgy moments. I mean, it's horrible being at the table under pressure, but I can tell you, sat there watching as well, it can be just twice as bad.
Well, especially the opening frame. To come out and start, you're dependent on so
30
heavily.
seconds.
And unless you've played in team championships, you can't possibly imagine the heat that is on these players.
Well, I can tell you this, England have never not made the final of the team championships. And I was speaking to Carl Alexander, who's the captain of Wales, before this match, and I said, are you happy about playing England in the semis? He said, well, I've never been on a losing side in a semi-final. I don't expect to be today. He said, I'd also like my team to be the first team to stop England getting in the silverware at all. And there's a bit of a loose shot, though, from Warren Hodgson.
Still a couple reds, though, Chris. And again, the Welsh side looking on. Difficult when you're watching from the seats. The controls are not in your hands.
Yeah, that's a poor shot by Warren there. Got himself into a good position, opened all the reds up. He's just lost his concentration a little bit and run out of position.
Well, he's going to try and attempt the red ball into the left-hand centre. Cue ball near the cushion, very tough shot, and he's missed that by a long way. And you just don't expect Warren Hodgson to get another go as Jason Twist jumps out of his seat. Another look at that. He overcut that one. A little shake of the head, very disappointed young man, Warren Hodgson.
Nice shot there from the reigning world champion, and the yellows ideally positioned for Jason to mop up here and get England off the mark.
That's right, it's not often you'll see Jason miss from these positions. He loves to get in these positions and just doesn't let his opponent get back to the table.
Well, the thing is, when you play in England, you don't get too many chances. And you cannot afford to squander them when you do. And it's Jason Twist with the simplest of yellows into this corner. And a straightforward 8-ball to give England a 1-0 lead.
The all-important first frame goes to the England side. Jason Twist, the reigning Embassy Whirlpool champion, over Warren Hodgson to secure that one-frame lead. Well, smiles, but you can bet there were anxious moments because Warren Hodgson and Wales had a look in first, but the English side laughed last. And what a side they're putting forward. Look at this. Phil Harrison, yet another stalwart in these championships. It just never gets any easier. There's no chinks in the armor on this English team. And Phil Harrison will be up against Keith Jones, heavily counted upon.
Second frame.
Did very well in the tables this year.
Leading 1-0.
But Phil Harrison will be breaking off. Try and keep that snowball rolling down that hill, gaining momentum.
Foul.
Well, that's not the way that Phil wanted to kick things off here in frame number 2. I can tell you that Keith Jones, out of the 33 that he played, he won 21, so Phil Harrison won't be delighted to see that, knowing now that he's given the table right over to Keith Jones. Mind you, Phil Harrison didn't have a bad go during the round robin stages either. In fact, #1 ranked player. So Keith Jones knows he's got to make hay while the sun shines.
Yeah, for my money, Jim, Keith's one of the better players in the Welsh team. He's been around, he's won quite a few big tournaments. I think he's probably the best player on the Welsh team. Wouldn't surprise me if he cleared up here. He's pretty good under pressure.
Well, strong comments, Chris. And obviously, you know these players as well as anybody. Tony, would you concur with that? Keith Jones would be one of your picks if you needed one guy to go out and play a frame, Tony, for your life on the Welsh side. Who would that player be?
Well, I think I'd rather pick Phil Harrison than Keith Jones. Keith Jones is a great player, but he's very, very cavalier.
I didn't know that Phil Harrison was playing on the Welsh side, Tony. I want a Welsh player.
Well, I still wouldn't pick Keith Jones, in fairness. I'd have to go with Ryan John. I think he's a very accomplished player, and one of the steadiest players I've seen in these championships. For me, Keith Jones is a bit of a maverick. Great potter, though.
We'll be seeing Ryan John a little later on in this team event. But this is very inviting right now for Keith Jones. Try and stabilize the ship for the Welsh side. Both teams come with a lot of support. Obviously here in Blackpool, England, you know they're well supported, but have a look at the Welsh support. Now what's that fella's name?
There we see Mandy, one of the Welsh supporters, the Pavarotti of Poole. She likes to get the crowd going.
Big shot this one. If he positions himself to the second to last yellow, and he doesn't want to go in behind that red, I think he might just be okay here. Just.
There she is, Mandy. I don't know who the one in the red is, though. And that's a great shot there from Keith Jones. This is just what Wales need after losing the opening frame, to fire straight back at England. And that one wiped its feet, and the position on the 8 ball is not great.
Again, we saw Keith Warren in the last frame, played some great shots, got himself into a good position. One lack of concentration and ran out of position, and there we see Keith do it again.
No danger though, a good 8 into the center pocket, and Wales is off the mark. Keith Jones secures frame number 2 to level things up here against England. So they're in the form of Mick Hill, England up against Julian Wilde from Wales.
Wales to break.
And Julian will be breaking off. Now he's a new face. I don't recognize this gentleman from the side last year. Is this his rookie season, as it were, to play for Team Wales?
No, Jim. Julian Wilde's been around a good few years. He's been in and out of the team. Last season he didn't quite make the side, but very steady player. Nicknamed him Oscar, after the famous Oscar Wilde. But he's pretty much the life and the soul of the party, the Welsh team. Quite a jovial kind of, but he is a great cueist.
Yellow ball potted.
And you see he's potted the yellow off the break, but I don't think he's landed ideally.
I think he's got a yellow into the bottom right-hand corner here, which will get him started
Yellow ball's in
on
play.
his road to clearing these colours up.
Little decision in what color that will be, but it looks like the only shot he's really got is the possible yellow bottom right. That's the one he's looking at.
Certainly not an easy starter ball.
30 seconds.
He's been playing pretty well this week, Julian. And that one looks like it's missed. But it's got second prize there. He's covered the bottom right-hand corner where the 8 ball is pretty closely situated.
Yes, and for my money now, Tony, this man does not miss. You get one chance per frame if you're lucky. And when you get that chance, you have to clear up, because he just does not miss, this fella.
Good red from Mick Hill. Mick, always one of the players that is counted on heavily to carry the English flag high. And in fact, in singles play, he's one of the players, the informed players on the Embassy Tour, isn't he?
That's right, he's #1 on the professional circuit, he's #1 on the tour. Can't really get any better than that apart from being world champion. He's been so consistent over the last 3 to 4 years, it's unbelievable.
Great pot there from Mick Hill. The only problem he'll have is just getting position from his last red to the 8 ball. He'll want to be playing that in the bottom left-hand corner.
I think the black may actually pass off the cushion first, off the yellow to the bottom right-hand corner. I think that's what Mick were looking at there.
Yes, it does look off the cushion, off the yellow, and possibly in, Chris, but would have to be hit perfectly.
There we see Mick clearing the top 3 reds, making his position easier to get on the black. This is ABC for Mick Hill. He does this day in, day out.
And there's Jimmy Mills from Australia. He's the timekeeper keeper for today. You can remember that these players, each shot, you must play your shot within 1 minute. The referee will give a 30-second call. If you do not play your shot within 1 minute, it's a time foul. And then your opponent will come to the table with 2 visits.
Well, all Mick wants to do is roll this in, and there's the time. Mind you, you won't see Mick Hill hitting a time foul very often. The long straight red now, just off straight. Now, looks like he's got the angle here to maybe possibly take that cue ball over the right-hand side of the table as we look.
I think this is a more sensible shot. He knows he's got a great positional sense as Mick Hill. And he's left that short.
He twitched that one a little bit there, didn't Mick? You were a little bit nervous. First time on the TV for a while. That's you won't see that very often from him.
Yes, a little movement in the head for sure, Chris, and about a foot short of ideal position. A very thin cut here.
Where's the white going? Very fortunate to leave it in the jaws.
Well, mind you, Wales in with a chance, and look at England. Concern written over every face in the front row.
What there's one thing you don't want to see when you're in a team event is one of your kingpins going down. And there you see Mick Hill shaking his head. He can't believe he didn't get on that 8 ball. And believe me, Mick Hill is one of the greatest players the world's ever seen. And this is such a great chance for Julian Wilde. I just wonder, just hope that Julian doesn't get too nervous. He knows it's Mick Hill, you know. That can be in the back of your mind, Chris, can't it?
Yeah, the thing is, you've got to play the table. I mean, it's very hard when you're playing somebody who you know if you're going to miss against, they're going to clear up. You've just got to get down, play your game, and hopefully you'll clear the balls. And that's a terrible shot from Julian there. Anywhere on the table apart from above the yellow, and it's perfect.
Another look at it, just slightly overhit this. But as you said, Chris, so unfortunate to have finished on top of that yellow.
I can say the table's very, very fast out there. Julian has just found that out. What if he's looking at his yellow into the bottom right-hand corner? And there you see what a great angle that is.
Well, for me, this isn't the shot. I think the shot is to snooker him behind the top yellow. But he's potted it. Great shot from Julian. Must be feeling confident now.
He looks very calm and composed. That's the secret to being successful, is to get that brain and that arm in sync. Another look at this shot. Had to be careful not to push it. Cue ball very close to object ball, but Julian Wilde right now.
Again, he's run the cue ball quite a long way away from the yellow. He'd have liked to have been right behind that one, but I think the one before scared him.
This is the shot.
And look at the Welsh lads now. They're praying this ball goes in the pocket. We're going to know before him if it's in. What a great shot. Didn't take it with some pace.
Great shot there from Julian. Didn't look like he was going to miss it. Straight down on the shot. Cued it well. Didn't move. Ball went straight in the pocket.
Well, if England didn't know they were going to be in for a tussle today, they do now. Wales has just secured the last 2 frames and lead 2-1 in the race to 8. And Julian Wilde, what a performance from him. The miss came from Mick Hill, and Wilde capitalized. Terrific last yellow. Down the cushion with conviction. And punctuated with the 8. And Julian Wilde feeling very good. He looks more nervous now than he did at any time at the table.
Well, he'll be very pleased with himself there, Julian Wilde. And there's Craig Reynolds. One of the greatest players that Wales have ever had.
And up against Craig, Gareth Potts. Very highly touted young player. Big expectations from Potts. But it's going to be Craig Reynolds at the table. The battle of the left-handers here. Another look at Gareth Potts' break-off. Nothing down.
And here comes Big Craig. Like I said, he's probably the most experienced player on the Welsh team. Plenty of years under his belt and tour wins. He's a great talent. And he won't be fazed by the occasion, I can assure you.
Nah, Craig's just played a good ball there, and he's got an absolutely perfect kiss to land on his bad ball. I don't think he actually played for that ball, but he's landed on it. And if this goes in, who knows, it could be 3-1 to Wales.
And this ball just passes, it looks like. A little quick on that.
Yellow balls
That's a
in play.
terrible shot for Craig. There you see him rubbing his eyes. I think he's been in the bar all night.
Well, Craig Reynolds was top of the averages for Wales. And he certainly wouldn't have expected to miss that shot. Down now to Gareth Potts to try and pull things back.
Well, Gareth Potts, the youngest member of the England side, only 19 years of age. Hails from Stoke-on-Trent. But what a great talent he is. He's been a world junior champion. He's just forced his way into the England side over the last 12 months. And this young man's going to be around for a long time to come. Tricky yellows are the two at the top right-hand side of the table. I think you might see him pot this one and maybe lay in the snooker, Chris. What do you reckon?
Yeah, Gareth's the type of person who he won't really take a big chance. He's a great potter. I think we'll see him just pot these two balls, one ball. But he's run a bit too further there. I don't know what he's going to do here.
Yes, doesn't really want to remove that yellow over the pocket because it's his insurance policy at the moment.
I think what Gareth were trying to do was land on the two yellows at the top, play the one on the cushion down to the right-hand corner pocket, playing the snooker in the same shot.
Where he's left the cue ball, he's taken that out of the equation. He's going to have to find something else. I don't think that would have been his ideal choice of shot, Chris.
No, that's a terrible shot from Gareth there. Not often you see him play a bad shot, but again, last frame, Mick Hill played a terrible shot. Now Gareth's played one and Craig's back at the table.
You'll see Craig Reynolds punch the side of the table there. He wanted the cue ball out a lot further than that. Make this next pot easier, but now it's a pressure ball. Bearing in mind Gareth Potts' two yellows are free. We know that one's in. Great chance here now for Reynolds.
Problem red, though, is the one at the bottom of the table. It really only passes bottom right.
I think he's going to in a minute use the red ball nearest the left-hand centre pocket to get down for that ball. Well, in fact, he can actually get there now.
This is perfect.
Yeah, he's landed absolutely perfect there. Just run the white to the side cushion, red bottom right, red centre, and the blacks in the corner.
You can see that awkward red does pass, but that's not the best positional shot Craig's ever played. He wanted to be down a lot straighter on this red.
He's held the white too well there, Jim. These tables are very fast. I've just seen quite a few players run out of position. I think the only way he can get on this red is to kiss the red.
This was a big chance for Craig, and now he's made his work a lot more difficult.
Yeah, what you're saying there, Chris, is play this one and then run the cue ball into the other red and hold on it. Well, the pot's close. It's not disastrous there for Reynolds.
Well, I think he thought it was in. I thought it was in. He did everything except drop.
But he did have a really great shot next on the red, did he? And it's like I say, it's not a disaster for Craig. There's a lot of work to be done here for Gareth Potts if he's going to win this frame.
It's very tough to see what Gareth can do from here. Just looking to see if he can land on the bottom yellow, which isn't easy. I think we'll see Gareth go for these.
30 seconds.
Well, I don't think he's got much choice, Chris. There's no real safety there, is there? So he's going to have to take this one over the pocket, and by doing that, you are opening the bag up for that red that he's queuing over now. He's played a very, very good shot. If he can pot this in his bottom left-hand corner and run the cue ball into the 8 ball, he's got a great chance.
That's right, he kicks the 8 ball up to the centre of the table and he's away.
But lest we forget that he can't afford a miss. Pressure on every stroke.
And that is absolutely perfect. Yellow now at the bottom of the table. He'll be wanting to play the one on the cushion straight after this one. And let's look at this shot once again. Superb cueing there from Gareth Potts. Sweet as a nut. Well, he'd like to get the cue ball up a bit further than that, and now this, it's made this pot 10 times harder than he should have done.
Yeah, he's just give himself a shot at the yellow. He's such a good potter, he's Gareth. I don't think he'll be thinking of missing this ball.
Has to have it, though.
He just pulled his arm a bit on that one. And that's the thing, if you don't get right behind those on the rail, when he had to play at a little bit of pace.
That's right, Tony, but he got down to the shot. And if the viewers noticed, he jumped up and down 2 or 3 times while he was down on the shot. And I think that's the reason he's missed the ball.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Chris. You see him moving his head, but the kiss there Craig Reynolds had has made it even easier. Just going to drop this in. The 8 balls easy in the bottom right-hand corner. And Wales. Momentum is with them.
The chance came, and look at the emotion from Craig Reynolds and Wales. 3-1, they've taken 75% of the first 4 frames and lead England by that scoreline. Yes, frame 5 it is. Anxious moments now for England. 3-1, they trail Wales. And Ryan John, your man, Tony. This is the man you picked from the Welsh side, up against that captain of England, Lee Kendall.
Well, if I picked him, Jimmy's bound to lose, isn't he? A good break there from Ryan John. Cue ball bouncing around the table. He considered himself a little bit unfortunate not to pocket a ball. He's got a very tough opponent.
Each and every year, England come into these team championships as prohibitive favorites, and with that comes all the pressure and the expectations. And only
Yellow ball's in
on
play.
3 occasions have they failed to secure the title. And even then, they were beaten finalists.
Well, Lee Kendall, the England captain, and stalwart, he knows that this frame requires a captain's performance. England are 3-1 down on this race to 8 frames.
See, kicking this yellow away here is not guaranteed to land on another yellow. It's a dodgy shot is this one. There we see, hasn't landed on a yellow. And even if he has, it's very difficult to see what he can do.
Yes, Chris, you knew the risks that Lee Kendall was facing in trying to dislodge this yellow. Even though he played it with a lot of power, it was left to chance where cue ball was going to finish, and now a difficult yellow for Lee.
You see, the problem is when you go into balls and you're cannoning other balls out, you need to have a guarantee of
30
landing on
seconds.
another one, which Lee didn't really have. So he was chancing a little bit to luck there.
But not only has he missed that, he's also not covered the pocket. As you can see, the red ball at the top of the table. It's a big gap, and just look at Lee Kendall's face. Here we say, just overcut the yellow. And it came back off the jaw. Here comes young Ryan John.
And all these reds pass.
Yeah, Ryan's a great little player. I think he's only about 20 years old. Cues like Mark Williams, but can he pot like Mark Williams?
Well, he doesn't normally miss a lot when he does get to the table. A shake of the head there.
Yeah, he's left that cue ball tight against the cushion,
30
Tony. This is
seconds.
a difficult red.
Perfectly played there. He's got the red in the left-hand centre or the red in the right-hand centre here. Choice of shots. That's the key, leaving yourself on 2 or 3 balls every shot.
Shot selection, when you look at the 8-ball last, is crucial in this game. Path to victory can be very straightforward if shot selection is there.
Yeah, I think we could see Ryan actually leaving the top ball to last.
The top ball, Chris, that you're alluding to would be the red at the top of the table.
That's right, Jim. And he can screw down the left-hand side of the table. No yellows in the way. The only object is the bottom left-hand corner pocket.
Well, it's not going to be easy getting on the second to last red from this one. A lot of force in this shot. And he hasn't done it.
Yeah, that's the inexperience there of Ryan. He's played that with lots of top left-hand side, and on this new cloth, the side doesn't take as much. That's why you see the white going over to the left.
That's really nowhere where he wanted to be there, Tony.
No, you got the skid off the cushion there. You see what he's presented with now. We can either take on this tough red down into the bottom right-hand corner, which he's going to do. Screw in left-hand side. This is some tough shot, Chris.
30 seconds.
Well, look at that. Would you believe it?
Well, this is why I picked Ryan John, because he's the greatest advanced safety player you'll ever see.
Well, that was advanced. Another look at it. I'd like to see him play that shot again. That cue ball was in the pocket. If not for the touch on the red.
No, he's a very, very lucky boy, Ryan John. Lee Kendall, what a kick in the teeth that is for him. He saw him miss the ball by 3 foot. And just look what he's left Kendall.
30 seconds.
To be fair though, Tony, when you're making mistakes like England have made, the game punishes you. You start making mistakes, the run goes against you, and this is what happens.
Come on now, John.
Hey, what is that, what Lee's played there? That is just ridiculous. Slamming his cue there.
He can't believe it. You know, I'm not too sure he wasn't playing that cue ball over towards that corner pocket, anywhere but in. But just too thick of a contact on the yellow, and that spills the end.
I think he was playing the pot, Jim. I'm sorry, because if he just left it at that left-hand side of the table, he still left a pretty easy red for Ryan John.
Right. For me there, Tony, all he had to do was play the yellow on top of the black. Didn't have to put the white anywhere near a pocket. And he's just giving himself too much to do, really.
Ryan John there just looking a tiny little bit concerned there.
But he's got 2 visits, so there won't be any problem. Even if this doesn't go in, it's going to be over the pocket.
Not if he sticks a cue ball behind the yellow. Like that, Jim.
What
Second
on
visit.
earth did he do there?
Well, that's just unbelievable. He's got 2 visits. All he had to do was play the black off the side cushion, drop on it with his
Double
second visit,
thinker.
and he couldn't fail.
Well, I can't believe the way Ryan's played that shot.
I don't think the cue ball goes past there, Jim, does it?
I don't think it does. He's got to go side cushion. So he's going to be looking across the table. And this has to be perfect.
And like you said, Chris, new cushions and you get a slide. This would go wide, and it has. It's hit the yellow. It's going to knock the black in. No. That's 2 visits. If he'd have knocked the black in, he'd have lost the frame. But now it's 2 visits to Lee Kendall. And can you believe that Wales are in a position to lose it? And there's Carl Alexander, the Welsh captain. He must be absolutely disgusted by the shot that Ryan John played.
I think he sees some inexperience in a good young player, and pressure can manifest itself in different ways.
30
But
seconds.
Lee with 2 visits. In an ideal world, he'd like to get a yellow. You can see he's got 2 yellows near that black, so he's got to get them out of the way.
He's got to pot one of these yellows straight away with his first shot, maybe doubling the other one over in the same pocket, give himself a chance.
We can actually play this into the centre pocket, play the cocked hat. 3 cushions, yellow into the side rail, bottom cushion, into the left-hand rail and into the middle pocket.
So side cushion.
That's right, Jim. Then onto the bottom
onto
cushion.
the bottom cushion, opposite side, and over towards the center.
Well, that's a shot I'd play because you're bringing the white up the table as well. And you're giving yourself a chance of potting it.
No, he's just played the sensible shot there, Lee. Give himself a chance. 1 visit remaining.
Second visit.
No need to play a daft shot, really.
You can see the 4 yellows ideally placed. This is just what you do on the practice table if you wanted to loosen your cueing arm. But I don't think that Lee Kendall thought he was going to get back to the table. Ryan John with 2 visits, reds over the corner pockets, black in the open. He probably can't believe his luck.
Well, Ryan John has let England off the hook. And Lee Kendall's presented with the easy task of just departing the 8 ball now into the right-hand corner pocket and bringing England back into the match.
And what a frame this one was. And if Wales should go on to lose this, this will be one they'll look at and highlight on the score sheet. It could have been 4-1, should have been 4-1, but the scoreline reads 3-2 to England. What a mistake from young Ryan John. Another look at it. He left himself snookered on that black. And Tony, as you noted, the slide on the new cushions, he just didn't allow for it. And he sat beside Captain Carl Alexander, and you can bet there's some words of encouragement coming forth there.
I would have thought there'd be words of comfort. How's that, Jim? 2 shots on a black ball. You've got to make sure you pot it. This is the World Semi-Finals.
Well, Keith Brewer from England up against Russell Burgess from Wales. 3-2 the scoreline. Brewer has to be feeling a lot better. And is there anyone on the English side with more experience than the man at the table now? Ball down off the break.
Red ball potted.
Open table for Brewer. Many times he has been the captain of the English side, the winning English side. And I also remember in years gone by when Keith Brewer had to play some deciding frames.
Yeah, he had that back in 1999 against our Irish
Red ball's
team.
in play.
He was in a lot of trouble in that
30
frame against John
seconds.
McMahon from Ireland, and he dug deep. He's a great performer, Keith Brewer.
Sorry to have to bring those memories back, Tony.
I'll forgive you this once, Jim. But no, Keith Brewer, one of the greatest tactical minds the game's ever produced. And he can pot a good ball as well.
Well, he's twitched that one there. It's not often you'll see that from Keith. He's normally cool, calm and collective.
Still an open table.
No, I think you'll find that Keith's on reds there, Jim. He's potted a red off the break. If you pot a red off the break and go for reds, you're on the reds. If he'd have dominated yellows and missed the yellow, then it would have been open table.
30 seconds.
But there's not much really he can do from this position.
Just wanted to keep that clear, Chris. Russell Burgess on yellows. Well, what can you tell me about this player? Because he doesn't look familiar to me either.
Well, Russell's been on the UK tour 2 or 3 years. Really moved up the ranks, top class player. He's beat a lot of the top players. He's won a few tournaments. Got to the final of the UK tour. I think he's an ex-snooker player, to be honest.
Well, Russell hails from the West Countries, from Taunton in Somerset,
30 seconds.
but he's was born in Wales, but he's been down there a good few years now. He's a very steady player. This is a new experience for him.
He's actually got himself into position now. The yellow's open. The two below the 8 ball. If he can drop onto that one straight into the corner, he should be able to clear the one directly below the 8, and you'd have to think that his work will be considerably easier. You can see he's not a long ways from being on that yellow now.
30 seconds.
You see Russell, he won't gallop round the table like some of the younger players. More meticulous. He's sort of edging away from the shot you were saying. If you're going to try and get the cue ball at the top of the table. Where's the white gone, Chris?
Well, would you believe it?
I think he must have stuck a 10-pence piece on the edge of that pocket to stop that red going in.
Look at Keith Brewer. He can't believe that red is still on the table.
Keith was already out of his chair waiting for his 2 visits. How on earth has that red not gone in there? Chewing gum.
Well, we say the pockets are generous, but there we've just seen the red was virtually in the pocket when he hit it.
Absolutely hanging on the edge of the pocket. Any vibration could send that ball in. And if he was to pot this yellow and say the red dropped in, it would be loss of turn. It would be a what they call a non-standard foul. It wouldn't result in 2 shots, but he'd have to come away from the table, Burgess, and Brewer would then come in with 1 visit.
Well, he hasn't left his work any easier, that's for sure. He can't get through to the yellow to the right of the black. The only one he can see, I'm not even sure if he can pocket it, is nearest the right-hand cushion. So it doesn't matter how you slice this one up. I think Brewer's going to be getting back to the table.
Yeah, you're right, Jim. Russell's kind of potted his way into a bit of trouble. He's galloping up a cul-de-sac right now. And you just know Mr. Brewer's going to have him in his web very shortly. Oh, it's no good potting 4 balls and then trying to play safe with the tactical genius.
Red ball's in play.
Because here comes Mr. Brewer. And if he doesn't clear up Keith Brewer, you can guarantee Russell Burgess is not going to have anything left easy again on this table.
Well, the one problem red for Keith is the one nearest the black right now. At some stage, he's going to have to try and get after this red or try and develop it. But that is the one ball that doesn't appear to be on as they sit.
30 seconds.
Yeah, I think we'll find Keith playing a safety shot here. I'll be surprised if he goes for these. Keith just likes to keep control of the game and don't let his player get into a good position.
Well, he does have a chance here, Keith, if he could pot this red into the bottom right-hand corner, send the cue ball into the right-hand rail, back across into the area where the 8 ball is in the yellow. It could maybe open them up.
You could see Keith kiss the black and the yellow here. No, he's tried to kiss the yellow there, missed it, put himself in a little bit of trouble now.
Well, he's still got a few balls at the top of the table. I mean, even if he just leaves the white at the top of the table, it's not going to be anything easy for Russell Burgess. Not unless those 2 yellows are a plant at the bottom of the table.
That's right, Tony, I was just about to say that. Are them 2 yellows a plant? If they are, then Keith's under pressure.
Well, Russell came over after the miss and had a look at it, and you know something? They're not a long ways away.
You can make that plant, Chris, can't you?
That's right, this is what we call an offside plant. You actually hit the ball at the opposite side of where you need the ball to go. And leaving Russell at the top of the table here would leave him a perfect chance.
Sure, just a full ball contact on that one yellow, and you should get that plant. But Keith, knowing exactly where he wanted to leave that cue ball, I'm not sure from here, possibly about a half ball hit from that area. You might see a mighty flail here. I have to expect him to get this.
He's going to have to dig deep with the cue ball, Jim, as well. He's going to make sure it doesn't go in off in that bottom right-hand corner when he's going into this plant. But you can see Russell's looking at it.
Well,
Well,
to be fair,
if there's not much room between those two yellows, this is about a half ball hit from where he is. He's just showing you.
30 seconds.
the yellow's going to be flying around the table here. Nice, played this. Just a containing shot there from Russell, and that for me isn't the shot there. He's giving Keith a perfect opportunity now.
Well, the red has been opened next to the black. Keith could play the red into the center, the red at the top of the table as we look. He's got so many options.
Well, for me, Russell Burgess should have took the handbrake off there and gone full throttle into that. And he's, like you say, Jim, he's tried to play a very, very tough safety shot there. And he's left everything open for Keith.
You get nothing in hurry from Keith Brewer. Just draw this red back now for the red left of the black. And it should be home and dry.
Well, the only way this could go wrong is for Keith Brewer to maybe come back too far with the cue ball here and leave an angle. His last red bit. Anybody knows Keith Brewer's control and position of the cue ball is always second to none. And he's absolutely spot on. Black's going bottom right after this red.
And the easiest of eights. And the wind has been taken out of the Welsh sails. They led 3-1 at one stage, looked like going 4-1, and they've been pegged back to 3 apiece. England, Wales, in what promises to be a real barn burner here in Blackpool. Carl Alexander has to try and right the ship that has gone wrong for Wales.
Frame. Wales to break. 3 frames
But
off.
he'll be breaking off here in frame number 7. It's a race to 8, remember, best of 15. And the formidable Darren Appleton stands in Carl Alexander's way.
Oh, he's got a good break there, Carl
Red ball
Alexander.
potted.
Let's have one more look at that. Didn't put a great deal of power into it. Wasn't really the type of break you'd be doing, Chris, was it?
If that were me, the arm would be flying at the balls there, hitting him as hard as I possibly could, giving myself the best chance to pot a ball. I think Carl just tried to control the white, make sure he didn't go in off.
And there's quite a cluster of colors in the center of the table.
30 seconds.
So it's certainly, as they sit, balls are going to have to be developed.
Yellow ball's nominated.
I see Carl nominating the yellows. He's going to try and put this one and screw into the black and try and kick
Yellow
out the
ball's
yellow
in
up, but
play.
he's not managed to do it. As you can see, the yellow's still sat there. I wonder if it might creep into the right-hand centre pocket. I'm sure that's what Carl's coming around to have a look now.
Well, he certainly has the yellow bottom left.
And that would just creep in to the centre pocket.
I think we'll see Carl play the plant here and run the white to the side cushion.
30
Try and work his
seconds.
way around these red balls.
I think he preferred to play the yellows, being as Chris. But now he's just nudged these ones together on the left-hand side of the table, and this isn't the shot you want to play, Chris, is it?
Well, he's put himself under a bit of pressure here, but again, he's got a nice angle on the bottom yellow to open them up. Not sure really if he'll try and open them up. Yes, he's going to try and flick the yellows away.
Yeah, 2 goes at that one.
Red ball's in
That's
play.
quite disappointing there for Carl. You did fancy him to, I mean, he made the plant, but you did fancy him to do a little bit better than that. And yeah, he's going to have a smile, but I'm sure inside he'll be feeling very disappointed with himself there.
Well, Wales has let this one slip away. They were in control in the early stages, and they've allowed England to get back into it. We talked earlier about what a formidable side England puts forward
30
every
seconds.
year, and you just can't let these guys off the hook. When you get them down, you've got to kick them.
Well, Darren hasn't got many options here.
There's some of England's supporters there. Jackie Baker with the white shirt on with the England flag. She has represented England at ladies level.
I'm not sure he hasn't left a path to that yellow over the corner pocket. Wide open for Carl Alexander right now.
That's right, he's just given Darren a chance now. Darren's just give Carl a chance to pop the yellow over the pocket and maybe split the two yellows on the left-hand side of the table.
Thirty seconds.
That doesn't look too bad. If this yellow passes into the right-hand center, he's got half a chance.
That's very, very tight. I'm not sure if he'll risk that pot when he can take one of the yellows into the top right-hand corner instead. Let's see Carl Alexander pounding into that ball and splitting the yellows apart. Great shot.
30 seconds.
I think he's trying to cut this back. Very strange cueing there into that top corner.
Yeah, I'm surprised he took that ball. I think I'd have been taking the other one, giving myself the best chance to get on the bad yellow on the side of the table. But from the position Carl were in to what the position is in now, I think he'll be quite happy.
There's the bad yellow you alluded to, Chris.
And I think that's just come off the rail a bit too far. See Carl crouching down to see if he goes past in the bottom corner. We'll have another look at that. He played such a lovely shot there. Just the speed of the cloth there, bringing it off the rail, and I think it's going to take a shot pot it in. There's Mandy Palmer from Wales with the Welsh mascot.
30 seconds.
And this yellow doesn't look like it passes. Usually when they catch that near jaw, they'll stay on the playing surface. So he's going to have to try and pull some magic out.
Come on, Dad. Go ahead, Dad. Come on, Dad.
Well, he wouldn't have enjoyed his next shot on the last yellow anyway. But as it is, Darren Appleton in with a chance. All reds in the open now. And I don't know whether or not Carl Alexander is going to be getting out of his chair again, other than to offer his hand in congratulations.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jim. Wales went 3-1 up in this match. It's like they caught some sort of disease. They've all had a chance. I mean, Ryan Johns chucked the frame away. Russell had a half chance. Again, Carl Alexander there. He's had a great chance, and they're just chucking frames at England. And sooner or later, England are going to come out and they're going to move into overdrive, because you know it's going to come. And when it does, I just feel that Wales could end up getting blown away in this match.
Yeah, you do get the feel they weathered the storm. And now they're going to hit another gear, as you said, Tony. I think everyone here is expecting it, and it's almost as though Wales is expecting it as well.
Well, they can't complain about the chances what they've had. They've virtually had a chance in every single frame. This could have been 6 or 7-0 either
30
way.
seconds.
Well, I mean, you look back over past years, Chris, and England sides have come here to this Embassy Arena, come out playing in a team event, and they just break and dish, clear the table. You play them, and you're just happy if you get the table and have a shot. Well, Wales have had plenty of shots. Not one time has of England broken finished.
That's right, when you put a team under pressure like England, who have probably got the best team in the world, you've got to keep the pressure on. You can't let them get to the table, can't give them chances. And all they've done is let them get back in the match.
Well, those gentlemen are looking a lot calmer now. They're 3-all, and their man Darren Appleton at the table with a finish you'd expect him to knock in probably around 94 times out of 100.
Will that be the captain's duty, though, during the mid-session interval? Try and keep his team thinking positively?
30
I mean, they're
seconds.
only going to be 4-3 down, and that's if Darren Appleton goes on to secure the win here. So 4-3 down is by no means an emergency.
I think he'll be saying to his players, come on lads, we've not played very well, but we're 4-3 up.
And we're getting chances.
Exactly, now it's time for you to stand up and be counted. Let's play pool like you know you can.
And Tony, now you're the captain of the Irish team. Not this year. You've been the captain many years. Sorry, nodding your head as I say that. But as a captain and having been in that role, is that exactly what you do? You pull your team aside and just get them thinking again, forgetting all the chances they've had, and let go and concentrate on what's to come.
Well, you've got to try and keep everybody positive. You want to, anything negative, you've got to try and keep out of the lads' heads. And sometimes it's hard. Individual people react differently under pressure. And I think sometimes it can come down to this, individual man management. But England are going to be the team with the tails up, and it's going to be up to Carl Alexander to rally his troops for the second session as Darren Appleton goes through the motions here of knocking in these 2 reds in the 8 ball. He's took a long time for Darren to knock these in. He's a very quick player normally, but he knows just how important this frame is at 3-all.
This could go wrong, screwing around the yellow here. And we saw him flick the yellow there, but played it quite well.
Just checking his angle for this 8 ball into the corner pocket. The weight of a nation on his shoulders as he strikes the 8.
There's been very little in it. The first session, England 4, Wales 3. Darren Appleton secures the win over the Welsh captain, Carl Alexander.
Incredible turnaround. England take control at the mid-session interval, leading 4-3. I cannot believe it, Joe.
No, I find it difficult to believe, but I think it's a classic example of the pressure of finals. Wales had the chance to go 4-1 with young Ryan John. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. We now have England 4-3. Now it's going to be up to Wales. Either the rot's going to set in of the huge loss they had against England in the minor round, or they've got to really draw on last year's 2002 final when they came back from the dead to win the actual championship.
How is that going to affect Ryan John? He's only 17 years of age. He's got to come back out for the second half. What's going to be going through his mind now?
Well, he's got to have a few people around him which help him draw positives from that and realise that he's only human and that he's got a big future and he's got to put that behind him and go forward.
A lot of pressure out there at the moment. A fascinating competition. We're going to take a short break. We'll see you in a couple of minutes' time. Welcome back to Blackpool for this enthralling semi-final clash between England and Wales. England leading 4-3. Let's go straight back to the action. It's Darren Appleton now up against Julian Wilde.
Finally poised here. 4-3. And Wales know they let it slip away. They were 3-1 ahead and somehow concocted to lose 3 in a row to go into that interval 4-3 down. But the same player comes back out for England, Darren Appleton, and I feel that this is a good move, a good tactical move by Captain Lee Kendall to bring Darren back out again. He won his last frame against the Welsh captain, Carl Alexander, and he's having a good look at the rack. He just wants to make sure that everything is touching, and that way you get a total displacement of the balls. Not always easy to do either, to get all those balls touching. And Darren's going to have one more quick look, and he still found something. And this is very important, as I said. The break, a huge weapon, akin to a long drive in golf, a big serve in tennis. It can set the frame up.
England to break, leading 4 frames to 3.
And so Darren Appleton strides to the table now, frame 8. Looking to continue on with the momentum that they have seized from Wales. And he wouldn't have looked good, would he, fellas, if after such a long time getting the rack right, if he didn't make one off the break, it would have come back to haunt him. But he got a ball in the middle. So it's an open table for Appleton and England.
Yeah, he's looking a little bit desperate there for Darren. Look at concern on his face as the ball's going around the table and nothing had gone in, but a red finally departed into the right centre. And what would you fancy here, Chris?
Well, if I were going for the balls here, I'd go for reds. Simply because they're more in the open and it's an easier pot than the yellow along the top cush to
Yellow
get on
ball's
another yellow.
nominated.
30
Well,
seconds.
Darren's disagreed with you. I must admit, I think I'd have preferred to take the reds as well. So I'm with you, Chris. But each player in their own mind has their own routes envisaged. That's the first time you've heard the England team sort of start to get a bit more loud on the bench, and there they are. You heard Lee Kendall shouting, "Come on, Daz."
Well, we said the expectations are so high, they've never failed to secure a final berth. Well, Wales has really put them under pressure here in the early going. And I hate to
30 seconds.
allude back to that one match in the first session, Ryan John, when Wales was 3-1 ahead, and he had 2 visits with the final black on the table. And what could have been? Nice little shot there. You can see the yellows nicely into the open for Darren Appleton now.
Yeah, Darren played a great positional shot there. Great controlled shot, making sure that he's got 2 yellows to play on if he hadn't have landed on one.
Good control there from Appleton. He's going to be playing the yellow just above the 8 ball next to the bottom left-hand corner.
I think he's just hit it slightly too hard there, Tony. He wanted to be low on the yellow. That way he can go up for the other ones. Now he's going to have to punch it off the side cush or punch it past the black off the bottom cushion.
England finishing top of the tables, only 1 defeat
30
at
seconds.
the hands of Australia during the round robin stages.
Well, he's played that very, very softly. No conviction in that shot, was there?
Well, for me, that isn't a shot. He's played a drag shot there, trying to kiss the black, and on these new cloths, the ball reacts later. You can't really play the same shot as what you play on a normal club table. And he's put himself under a lot of pressure now. He's got to pot this long yellow and give himself a chance. Or Wales are back in with another shout.
Now, Darren hasn't performed as well as
30
in
seconds.
past years for England. In the round robin stages of the 27 that he played, he's got just better than a 50% winning ratio. 55.56. He won 15 of the 27, losing 12. And you usually expect him to be top of the tables in the ranking list. Well, not this year.
Red ball's in play.
There we see Darren just playing a containing safety, but again, put himself under pressure. Julian Wild can now play the red off the right hand side cushion, leave the white where the red is. Puts Darren in trouble.
Thirty seconds.
He's taking a lot of time over this one. He hasn't seen that shot that you alluded to yet, Chris, but that certainly would be a good containing shot. Now he's looking at it. That's all he had to do, get everything in the open, and he really does put the thumb down on Darren Appleton now.
Well, Darren's under a lot of pressure now. He had control of the frame earlier on, played one select positional shot. Now he's under the cosh. What can he do from this position?
Darren Appleton taking quite a bit of time to decide what to do.
30 seconds.
There's Jimmy Mills, timekeeper, calling 30 seconds. So he's gone over halfway of his allotted time.
I felt the urgence demanded a shot of some desperation, took on a very low percentage double there. And the Reds nicely situated. And this is a big opportunity for Julian.
Well, this will be another good scout for Julian Wild should he win this frame. He's already took out Mick Hill in the opening session. And now it's Mick Hill's buddy and practice partner Darren Appleton that could be on the receiving end once again.
That's right, he's going to take the 2 best players in the world out here. Not many people can say they've done that on television.
And in fairness, looking at the Reds now, you'd have to expect them to finish up here. Good shot there.
That's a cracking ball there from Julian Wild. He's looking very confident.
It's ABC now for Julian. And for me, for my money, Julian looks as though he's been the best player on the Welsh team. Hasn't looked phased by who he's playing. He's just got down, played his own game, and that's why he's winning.
And he obviously hasn't cared who's been sat in the opposite chair. As you said, Chris, 2 of the best players on the planet, both fallen to the man at the table now.
Nice control there from Julian Wild. And the simple 8 ball, the Welsh are getting ready to sing.
And the rod has been stopped. Wales pull back, level pegging, 4-4, and finally some time to cheer again. The race to 8 is heating up here in Blackpool.
9th frame, Wales to break. 4 frames all.
In the first round, Craig won his match. Phil Harrison lost his. But nothing down off the break. So the first look into Phil Harrison.
Open table.
Another look. Good cracking break off, but there's no secret. If you could figure out a way to get a ball off the break every time, you could bottle it, sell it, and you'd be an instant millionaire.
Well, we all have our own way of breaking off, Jim. Some of us break from the side clutch, some of us break from the centre of the table. It all comes down to a little bit of luck.
seconds.
Yes, Phil. Come on, Phil.
Yellow ball's in play.
Phil Harrison. Just got a problem ball down at the bottom of the table there, yellow just beneath the red. And there you see he's just moved the red off the top of it. That was a great shot there from Harrison, and now he's opened up the frame.
Another look at it. Beautifully controlled cue ball. Still left himself on the yellow into the middle pocket. But every chance now for Phil Harrison. The #1 ranked player after the round robin stages. What a performance from him. Out of 36 played, he won 29 of them, and that translates into just better than an 80% winning ratio. That does take some beating. That's just how solid Phil is.
I will see Craig just stood up, just wanting one chance at the table, but I don't think Phil's going to give him one.
Well,
He's
either
looked very
that,
solid.
30 seconds.
either that, Chris, or he's just had his pants pressed. But you really can't see Phil Harrison failing from here.
Has he landed straight though, Jim? If he's landed straight, there's no way he can get the white ball up the table.
Try and force this and just cheat the pocket slightly. And you can see concern a lot straighter than he would have liked.
Well, these new tables
30
should
seconds.
be a bit giving the jaws. You can sort of take the odd liberty with these pockets. And he did catch a lot of jaw in that, and it still rattled into the pocket.
Who would have thought he could get the cue ball there from just an off straight yellow. And I mean, talk about cheating the pocket. I think it's hard to believe that yellow was accepted.
And he's overhit this one. And I mean, overhit it by a mile, Chris, hasn't he?
Yeah, for me, he should have taken the other yellow in the middle pocket. Guaranteed himself the perfect angle on the top yellow. That way, he can get down for the black. But now, he's taken the yellow over the top pocket and put himself under pressure.
Dangerous shot here. The cue ball's going to be travelling a fair bit as well. Cut it into this top corner. He's missed that by miles.
Did you see Craig Reynolds leapt out of his chair? He was right in line with that. And he knew before anybody that it was missed.
I cannot believe how far away he is from that part. That's closer to the M6, that is.
To be fair to him there, Tony, I think he did get a bad contact on the yellow. It seemed to skid to the left-hand side cushion.
Well, that's just how important it is to control that cue ball. He was digging himself a hole with each shot. Became a little tougher and a little tougher for Phil, and finally, the second to last hurdle, he just couldn't get over, but it's down to Craig Reynolds. Still 6 reds remaining, so he's 7 pots away from taking Wales back in front.
Good shot there from Craig. He's in a great position here. Just going to run this one into the centre pocket. Follow the cue ball through a bit. Craig just comes around to have a look. See where he wants the cue ball with his next shot.
He's a likable guy, isn't he? You see a lot of Craig around the tournament scene. And a solid performer.
Just pop this one into the centre pocket. You can kick the red that's on the cushion down the table towards the bottom left-hand corner.
Just got to be a little bit careful here that it doesn't catch the side of the red and not the white in the corner bag.
Now you see the England team looking behind Craig Reynolds, hoping he's going to miss and make a mistake.
It's not the way the book said. This isn't easy. Much thinner cut on this red into the bottom left. So he's checked the cue ball up 2 cushions, and what a shot from Craig Reynolds there.
That was a huge shot from Reynolds. Look at this. Thin cut, but checking the white through that gap. And it's absolutely perfect now. He's going to just stun this in now. 8 ball into the centre pocket is the one we're looking right at now.
That's right, just composing himself now. He knows how big this frame is for Wales. And England are under pressure now.
Well, Wales have found another gear and they've bounced back.
They use the mid-session interval to regain things and seize the momentum back from England. 5-4, Wales in front in the race to 8. They've taken the first 2 following that interval. And you know, Lee would dearly love to hoist the team championship with his England squad this year. And Mick Hill is going to try and help him to do just that. Got beat his opening match, and now he's up against Paul Hawkins.
I'll tell you what, in the group stages, Jim, you play 21 frames, you have to play all frames if you would of the averages. England beat Wales 16-5 in the group. And Wales said at the end of it, don't worry, that's not the time we want to beat them.
Save their best for when it's needed most.
Seem to have a bit of a voodoo sign on England of late, especially in the televised stages.
Well, this is Paul's debut on the TV. Look at that for the first pot. Great pot there, put himself in good position now. Give himself every chance to take this frame. And for me, if Wales win this frame, they'll win the match.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was quite surprised to see Paul Hawkins not playing in the first session. He's been pretty solid all week, and he's a well-respected player, and he is very, very solid.
Yeah, he's a great player, Paul. I've known him a few years myself. Every time I watch him play, he never does anything out of turn. Always calm and collective.
Well, the Reds certainly ideally placed right now as far as Paul's concerned, and he knows that momentum is back on the Welsh side.
Well, this is a real chance for Hawkins. They call him the Hawkeye. I cannot believe what you've seen there.
Yellow ball's in play.
I think David Seaman was in the pocket there, the England football goalkeeper, throwing that one back out. Unbelievable.
I think if David Seaman was in the net, he'd have gone down the pocket.
Well, that is cruel. And what a twist of fate was befallen Wales here. That is hard to believe.
Things like that can turn matches in a breath, especially when you're playing this young man.
Well, Mick won't be pleased with his first shot. He's got a difficult yellow into the side pocket here. Oh, that was a great shot. There's very little room for error. Now they're on a silver platter from Mick Hill.
Well, I spoke to Mick Hill at the interval, and I said to him, "Come on, Mick, what are you playing at here?" And he just turned around and said to me, basically, "I've no confidence."
Yeah, I had a word with him as well, Chris, and he just said that he's really struggling with this game, and he's still the #1 player on tour right now. If this is Mick Hill struggling with his game, I'd hate to see him when he's in form.
Well, I don't want to see him when he's in form. He's like a man from a different planet. Doesn't look human.
Ideally placed now. You can see the black near the right side pocket.
Great control there from Hill. And the frame is now dead. Wales have got to consider themselves a bit unlucky there. Paul Hawkins, the red ball coming out the centre, but Mick Hill, he doesn't care. He's quite happy to mop up the leftovers.
Well, that's an understatement when you say a bit disconcerted. Well, as if it isn't tough enough to beat this formidable English side when Lady Luck plays a card on your behalf as well. How tough is England going to be now? They must feel like they're fated to win. Nothing down. Keith Jones with a good break off, but no friends at the table on this occasion.
Just look at the yellows there. First glance, the yellows look absolutely perfect for Ian Hubbard. This is Ian Hubbard's second year in the England team, playing in the World semi-finals. He's already played well this year, winning the first UK tour.
30
and
seconds.
then following that with a second place in the European Championships.
His first yellow might be his most difficult shot.
Yeah, tough ball here for Hubbard. And he's missed it. And Keith Jones probably hardly believe his luck. Such a hard shot for your first one in a match of such high magnitude.
Little doubt he'll be selecting yellows as well. But this wasn't an easy starter, as I said.
I just can't remember an England team missing so many balls. I've never ever seen them miss this many balls in my life.
Like I said before, Wales have just had a bit of that voodoo on them of late. I think they may be just a little bit scared of Wales now. Don't forget, Wales are the world champions, England aren't. It's up to England to take the bull by the horns and take the title back off them.
In fairness, guys, the 5-5 scoreline right now is very complimentary to the English side. If not for a couple very loose efforts. And well, there's, speaking of loose efforts, you just saw one from Keith Jones. But where That ball jumped out of the middle pocket as we again see this miss from Jones, and the missed effort from young Ryan John, what the scoreline could have been.
It could have nearly been over. As it is, Ian Hubbard's had a reprieve. 2 reds at the bottom of the table are going to pose the biggest problem for him. Even if he doesn't pot them, if he could get one of those over that bottom right-hand corner, he'll be in control of the frame.
That's right, this match at the minute, it's been all mistakes. Nobody's really took the bull by the horns and cleared up with one visit.
At the opening of the program, I talked about the difference between team pressure and individual pressure. You miss a ball, you go back, you can't even look your teammates in the face. You're playing for them as well as your country. Individual, well, you can give yourself a kick in the pants and try and get yourself into gear.
Well, he's played the safety.
Total snooker.
And they hear the referee calling total snooker. And that means instead of hitting the cushion after contact with a total snooker, if Keith Jones just makes contact with any one of his yellows, he doesn't have to hit the cushion. So it wouldn't be a foul.
Again though, the snooker, it's not a positive shot. He's played a negative shot there, and for me, it's not an hard snooker to get out of, and if he gets out of it, it puts him under pressure again.
And there you see him putting his finger exactly where he wants to bring the cue ball down, off the 2 rails at the top of the table. He's pretty close. What a very, very good shot.
You can see the only reds available, top right. Nothing easy there for Ian Hubbard. But he did get a little saving grace in that when Jones struck the yellows, he tied them up, and what a terrific plant there.
You'll see Ian screw down the table here and cannon into both reds that are tied up. He's got a chance, and for me, he won't get a better one to break them up.
We talked about the 2 reds at the bottom of the table. Those are the 2 that pose the problem.
Just chop the cue ball through now off the left-hand side rail. Bit of top of left-hand side, you can bring it down. What if you could play a plant down there, Chris? Red onto red and onto the yellow.
Yeah, it could be a plant, that, Tony.
There you see, that actually goes in. He could attack this situation. Red onto the yellow there at the bottom of the picture and into this corner pocket. The second red will also stay near the corner pocket, and I'll tell you what, I think I'll have a go at this. Would you, Chris?
Yeah, I think I'd be trying to play the plant and get on the other red. The problem isn't the plant, it's landing on the other red with the angle to get on the black. It's not an easy shot. This is why Ian's taking quite a long time, working his options, composing himself.
30 seconds.
Ian just had a glance at that plant. And he's made it. Been a little bit unlucky with the cue ball.
And you can see Keith Jones right out of his chair. He wanted to have a good look to see where everything was here. You might need a step ladder to play this shot.
Like I said, it wasn't the plant that there was a problem. It was controlling the white for the next red.
This is awkward.
30
And
seconds.
you can see how hard this shot is. Ian's over 6 foot tall, and he's struggling to reach the ball.
It dropped, thankfully for Ian Hubbard. What a terrific shot, and look at the position on the 8. Great effort here. Could barely reach it, and finally it disappears. And the 8 down, And England back with their noses in front, 6-5 over Wales. And it all turned around on that ball that popped out of the pocket. And again, England quick to grasp that straw. 6-5, they want 2 more for a place in the finals. And look who's coming out now for Team England. The reigning world 8-ball champion, Jason Twist. It doesn't get any better than this. And up against Jason, young Ryan John. And Ryan was the one that I feel a touch of inexperience coupled with nerves cost him the opening frame in the first session.
6 frames to 5.
Where he had 2 visits with that black, if you remember, and failed to capitalize. So Jason Twist all set to crack into them.
Not a great break there from Jason.
Open table.
Doesn't really use a power break. See, he always keeps his hand flat on the table. The cue comes straight off his hand, and the hand stays on the cloth. It's quite a strange break, in fact.
Yeah, for me, when you break off, you've got to give them full whack. You've got to put your body into the ball. I mean, sometimes you can control the white, and a ball will knock the white in.
30 seconds.
Good starting ball there from Ryan John. And he'll want to erase the memory of what happened to him in his first game. When he had Lee Kendall on the ropes, he had 2 visits on a simple 8-ball and managed to put it over the bag and then snooker himself on it, and then failed to pot it out of the snooker.
Well, as he looks, he's got 2 difficult reds. The one certainly poses a big problem over here. I think he went after that one right away, possibly between 2 minds. But Jason Twist never did sit in his chair. I think he knew he was going to be getting a chance. But yes, I think that Ryan was so concerned with taking the cue ball into that difficult red that the pot went begging.
Thirty seconds.
There's a lot of players in the world you don't want to allow to the table. I think this gentleman would be very high on anybody's list. Brimming with confidence coming into this year's event. Two-time world champion.
He's overcooked that one. I think just stretching across the table. They did refuse using the rest, which is unusual for Jason, being as he actually started off at an early age as a snooker player. He's had a few big century breaks. He's had a 147 once, I think.
Just gathering himself. Want to have another look at this. I always like to see that in a player. It's like a golfer getting disturbed by a plane going overhead. They stand up and refocus, go through their tempo again, and that's exactly what Jason did. And that's a sign of experience and composure.
I see the concentration in Jason's face, giving every shot 100% concentration.
A win here would leave England requiring just 1 frame to take out the team that beat them in the final last year. What a performance this one from the Tornado. 3 in a row. Jason Twist has just taken England on the hill. 7-5. They lead Wales, wanting 1 more for a place in the final.
The reigning world champion really fired up, very much in control. England leading 7-5 anyway, back for Wales.
Very difficult. England have made their move, and we've got a situation now where the two incoming players both lost their first round. You've got young Gareth Potts, who gets the chance to play championship frame, plays winning frame for the team, and young Warren has to try and keep the minute.
It's an absolutely fascinating encounter. You could see the pressure on his face out there at the moment. He has to win this frame to keep Wales in the competition.
And down to the gentleman that kicked things off here, Warren Hodgson from Wales. Lost his opening frame, and he's up against the young superstar from Wales, Gareth Potts. Potts comes to the table. 7-5. Will he strike the last ball in the semi-final? You know he wants to.
Walker cueing this for Gareth Potts.
Yes,
Played that very, very well, and the chances here to get England into the final of the World Team Championships.
That's right, Tony. I don't think England are going to get a better opportunity to win this semi-final and take them into the final.
Nice angle on this red to bring the cue ball down for his choice of reds next. There doesn't look to be anything too difficult here, just a matter of controlling the white.
Gareth Stad will be very proud to see him clear up from here. He's flown all the way back from Sweden to watch his son try and lift the world team title.
Red ball now on the rail. Just gonna gently draw that across. Try and get on his penultimate red, which would be over the left-hand corner. Got to negotiate this one first. And it's there. And Gareth Potts has played the shot brilliantly. It's absolutely spot on position. It's looking like the end of the road for Wales. It's Gareth Potts. See, once again, slotting that one down the rail. And they're going to be tough cookies to beat.
And they will grow in confidence from this challenge. A game fight from the defending champion Wales. Right now, they look like going out in the semifinals. And this 8th ball has secured England's place in the final. They avenged last year's loss to Wales, and England on track to regain the World Team Championship. An 8-5 win over the holders Wales.
A great performance from England, absolutely delighted, reversing the result last year. They beat Wales, they're in the final. Here's confirmation of that result. England booking their place in the final. They now have to wait and see whether they're going to be playing Scotland or Ireland in that match. It's a great opening day here on Sky. Joe, a tough match, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, but the favourites have come through on this occasion, and however, my feelings go out for Gareth Potts. I think it's a thrill for a young gentleman who's a former world champion a couple of years ago to come out and pop the winning black for England in the semi-final.
And England, they really weathered the storm. Earlier on, Wales were very much in control.
Yes, and they truly came through as we expect England to do this year. There was no comeback from Wales in the second half this year.
Australia, they're going to be back next year?
They certainly will. It certainly won't be for the lack of trying. We have very enthusiastic lot of players in Australia, and each year they simply play for this opportunity to play at these World Championships.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us, Joe. It's been a great opening day. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. Until next time, from all of us here in Blackpool, goodbye.